Hello and welcome to the Reetin Entertainment Podcast, episode 347 for April 24th, 2022. My name is Nathan Reetin. Joining me this week, we have Andrew Roa McFain.
I keep waiting for a persona grade rapper to come in part of the way through the intro.
It makes a little bit. I like it. I like the intro, but it makes me think a little bit of like an NPR news segment.
It certainly sounds like something you got off Fiverr.
And then we have Connor the Cyberpunk Monk Besh.
It's funny that you say that, Aroa. The very first thing I said to Nathan when he showed that to me in like a private chat was, "Can I rap over this?"
And you can, and you can start next week. Because
maybe I was even thinking about doing that already.
I'm gonna be gone for 3 weeks, not doing the podcast, so I'm leaving it up to you two for some reason. And
Hooray!
I have been told in no uncertain terms that I cannot do the podcast or any streaming while I am in Europe. Yeah, that is what you said. That is what you said.
Someone's in trouble.
So I won't be doing any podcasting. I won't be doing any streaming. I'll be, you know.
You're gonna leave your phone at home.
I will not be leaving my phone at home. I need GPS. Okay. I have.
Just bring your Garmin. God, everyone has one of those, right?
I got Google Fi for the express reason that I wanted to use it for international. There we go.
The word you were trying to use was explicit.
Explicit reason, yes. That I wanted
Today's just shit on Nathan Day.
Apparently.
It's okay.
I thought that was every day. So anyway, I got Google Fi for that reason, that I wanted to do international travel because it has amazing international travel plans.
And then the world ended.
Yeah, and then the world ended. But if you look at like Mint Mobile, which is advertised
T-Mobile.
heavily,
yeah,
I looked at their international data rates. It is $200 per gig.
Well, yeah, I mean, most MVNOs, if you're gonna go international, you might as well just buy a prepaid phone while you're overseas.
Yeah, or you can at least get a SIM card that'll work in your phone.
Yeah,
that's what a lot.
Kind of what I mean.
Yeah. Anyway, we're gonna ask Connor, where can we find you?
You can find me and Aroa and Reetin, and I think I went robotic there for a second. Sorry about that. At aroa.website. The one link that I want to draw your attention to over there is the one for Clinton's Core Classics. This is a Rise of the Rune Lords First Edition actual play podcast. We are just wrapping up the 5th book now, and we're getting ready to go into our 6th and final chapter. So if you haven't checked it out before, now is a wonderful time to hop on.
Because it's about to be over forever.
Yes, it is.
Whole show.
Eventually, we'll discuss that later. But no, we're
he's right.
On. Well,
the end of that show.
Well, yes.
The whole podcast is ending.
No, it is not.
The only successful thing you've done is over.
The only successful thing I've ever done in my life.
Oh, I thought he was talking about me. Whew.
Well, that too. Both of us. All three of us. Even though Aroa's not there, he's he's just riding those coattails.
Hey, no, he is
in one episode.
Exactly. He is in one episode for, I think, less than a minute total of audio.
Not even. Yeah. Like several seconds.
Thank you very much for your support. I just listened to that like a month ago again, actually.
So, yes, you can find us all on Aroa.website. You can find Aroa at Aroa.website. You can find me, Nathan Reetin, everywhere at Reetin. Again, I stream Monday through Friday, 6 p.m. Pacific time to 9 p.m. Pacific time. Obviously, the next month is going to be a little weird because I'm not going to be streaming. I will be on Wednesday of this week, so that would be the 27th of April. I'm actually going to be gone. I'm not going to stream that day. I will be streaming Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday. Wednesday, I'm going up to Portland to watch Mick Foley. And then Friday, I am flying out to the United Kingdom.
I
gonna be
assume
there
Mick
for 2
Foley
weeks.
is one of them wrestle boys.
He is a professional wrestler who does like a stand-up comedy show thing now. And I saw him several years ago. And
What's the deal with arm bars?
yes, exactly. But he does it's more of like a one-man show type thing where he tells anecdotes and talks about, wrestling and stuff.
And then he
but-
submits himself.
Exactly. And that's the weird part. He gets naked, but that's okay.
No, I was talking like a choke slam on himself. Gee,
That's not a submission, though.
oh, I really should know that too.
Anyway, so I'll be going and seeing Mick Foley, then I'll be going into the UK. But I found out, not that I would have gone because I'm kind of boycotting WWE, but I found out, so I'm going to arrive in like the London area on the 30th of April. And on the 29th of April, WWE is having a show in London.
So if you've ever wanted to meet your most obscure favorite podcast host and you live in the greater London area.
Exactly. But yeah, so I was like, I don't really want to go, but I was a little disappointed that I didn't even have the option to go. Anywho, we're gonna ask, what did Aroa play this week?
So primarily, I played Rune Factory 5.
That's
What-
similar to Harvest Moon.
Yeah, so I believe it was originally a spin-off of Harvest Moon.
Okay.
Like I think it was actually like Rune Factory, a fantasy Harvest Moon or something like that.
I see.
But of course, since now Harvest Moon is owned entirely and developed entirely by whatever I can't, is it Natsume?
I have no
Is
idea.
it? I think it's Natsume. Um I could be getting that backwards, but anyway, don't buy any of the new Harvest Moon games. They're not real Harvest Moon games. Since that all happened, now Rune Factory is entirely done by Marvelous, who you may recognize as doing a lot of games that are popular with the weeb groups. Um,
I'm just a little
So-
bit out of genre here. I thought Stardew Valley was the big Harvest Moon game to play.
it's kind of funny.
Maybe that's like 5 years old now, though.
Well, it's kind of funny because generally, I think that Stardew Valley does everything that Rune Factory 5 tries to do, but better. Really, the only difference is the idea of the combat, not the execution so much, because the game is extremely held back by being on the Switch. I really, really hope that it gets a release on like anything else.
PC.
Particularly PC, but like it's just criminal that this game has to be on the Switch because seriously, it struggles to stay at 30 FPS most of the time.
Oh,
Um,
no.
You walk out of a building and the game jogs for like 5 seconds as everything pops into existence. It's bad. And then having to do like Babby's first Souls sort of like combat. It's like action RPG combat, but the idea is supposed to be that you're dodging at the right time to get invincibility frames so that you can then counterattack. Having to do that at 15 FPS is not fun. And I cannot fathom how bad it must be if you turn off the dynamic resolution setting in the settings, which is a thing that you can do for some reason. But
Oh,
otherwise,
so you could force it to be at 720p
you
or
could,
whatever.
yeah, you could force it to run like shit at all times if you
Oh,
really wanted
good.
to.
Oh, good.
Uh,
I can't wait until I can play it on my Steam Deck.
yeah, like I'm kind of tempted to try it out on an emulator to see if like because I haven't done anything with like making Switch games run better on PC, but I know that that's a thing that you can do because I know there's like it's like a 60 FPS patch or something for Breath of the Wild and shit
Yeah.
like that. But
Even
like
running
I
at
want to see that.
even running at a consistent 30 frames a second would be nice.
It would make a massive difference because when you go into a dungeon and it doesn't have to render anything, it actually feels pretty good. You can consistently get dodges off, and like it feels like a game. And then you go back outside, and everything just runs like ass. And it's like, well, at least I'm only playing the visual novel parts now. Um, I do like the writing quite a bit. They've done a fantastic job with the translation. It is,
Just so you know, your mic
yeah.
is like making a
Am I
popping noise.
popping?
Yeah,
Am
You
I
are,
popping?
yes.
Okay, give me 10 seconds.
it's okay.
You
You've
know, I
been
was
doing it
figuring it was just his vocal tick.
yeah, you've been doing this for the last 11 minutes. We just didn't say anything.
Because
Okay,
we're
yeah,
polite.
I didn't know. Okay, it's still doing
No?
it.
Yeah,
Let me
it is.
restart Discord.
Okay. So, how's it going, Connor? We're just going to wait for Oroa to come back after he
It's okay.
restarts
It shouldn't
Discord.
take him too long.
No, it shouldn't.
It-
Oh, hey, there he is. Is he back?
What's poppin', homie?
Oroa? I can't hear you.
You restarted Discord, then went all the way to the far side of the room, it sounds like.
Well, I
So,
can't.
Reetin, are you going to edit this out?
No, that was not
Ah.
the plan.
Oh,
Editing.
wait, what?
Hi, welcome back.
Hey,
And is it? It's still popping.
Yes, it is.
I don't know what's going on there.
So, are you gonna restart
on.
your computer while Connor talks about the games he's played?
One other thing, because I'm pretty much done anyway.
Okay.
Everybody who likes visual novels should check out Dokusei. Came out on Steam recently. It's
Okay.
first actual localization of Dokusei. Basically the first dating sim. So
Oh, the very first one.
pretty much.
The one that
Also an
led
eroge,
us.
but you know.
The one that led us into this world of ruin is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, we're gonna move
girls
on.
all got big old honkeroonies.
the beginning of the end.
Yes. We're gonna talk to Connor about what games he's played while Aroa restarts his computer. So, Connor, what games have you
I'm
played?
flying away.
Goodbye, Roa. What games did I play this week? I played a whole lot of work, I know that.
How was that?
Played, we're starting to get a little busy again. But we don't talk about that here. We talk about video games.
Good.
First, I played some Space Station 13. That's kind of like my honorable mention game. I haven't been doing too much. Okay, no, I was about to say that, but I actually have been doing some exciting things. But I've been trying to just observe and listen a little more than I usually do. Let things happen passively instead of instigating. And especially in a game like what is basically Werewolf or Mafia or whatever, where some people are actively trying to find out who other people are.
Yeah.
It can when you're just trying to blend in, people kind of wonder what you're doing anyways.
Mm.
That's it's you have a job-based game, you're doing your job, nobody bats an eye. If you start messing around the station just checking out other things, that makes people interact with you more, ironically.
I see.
So that's been good. It's a hard game to explain to anybody, and I recommend anybody try it out, and you will probably be overwhelmed, I mean to say, and that's completely normal.
Yeah, I was very overwhelmed, especially the one where we came. There was a giant alien attack, and then
As will happen in space.
and then the other one that we joined, there were cultists that were murdering everybody.
And that was so fun. The latter is more what typically happens. Not that invasions can't happen on a station, but the wackiness of like a cult uprising that suddenly we need to deal with that.
Yeah.
That's a good example of the sort of game that Space Station 13 is.
Yeah. But did you do any Warhammer stuff?
No, I didn't get a chance to play any Warhammer. I did get to play Star Wars, the whole ding dang Skywalker saga. I think that's its official title.
Yeah.
Nintendo Switch a little more.
How was that?
I've gotten to a point where I was now playing Star Wars games about a Star Wars that I've never seen.
Oh, right.
That being Star Wars, I think it's the Force Awakens or something. It's the 7th one.
I think that is
the Force Awakens.
Yeah.
And I was starting to play the game, and I was like, huh, well, this is wacky and neat, but I don't actually really know what's going on here. So I went and got into an excuse to watch it, and we were talking about this before the show. Just because we live in an age where everything is digital and streamed, we can't always expect the quality to keep up with our bandwidth capability.
Yeah.
So the thing that I was watching was being scaled down like by an AI scaler, I think it was. And because the source material was so high def, and because when a house full of everybody is streaming at the same time, my particular bit rate at that time was low. It just kind of turned everything black. So I eventually did fix the issue, and I was able to enjoy the movie. But like the first try that I gave it, I just kind of thought that's how dark the movie was. J.J. Abrams, maybe it was an artistic choice.
So you said when you chose off the 4K option, it made the screen completely black?
Not completely. It starts off and they're in like a candlelit desert Adobe builder. There's probably a better term for that. And you could just see the candle and like the reflections off their faces. You can't really like make out any facial expressions. I was like, okay, this isn't. And then they go outside. They're starting to shoot blasters. Every time they shoot a blaster, it's like when you turn on the glow effect in Photoshop, and it's like too dramatic.
Interesting.
It was around that time I started suspecting that something was wrong. It was either the source material was corrupted in some way, or what I suspect to be the case was the original was insanely high def, and I was downgrading it to like 720p.
I think I know what the problem was. The original was probably HDR or something like that, and then when you downscaled, we're just gonna say they were on Plex, and the person who had it on Plex probably didn't have like the Plex Pass or the lifetime subscription thing to make HDR content better. So it was probably not able to transcode it correctly to SDR. That's what I assume. Is it was converting from HDR to SDR, not working correctly. But that's just my thought on what's going on. And the other one was probably not HDR that you were getting. So
most likely that or hardware rendering possibly. We were discussing this before the show, just because this is adjacent to our tech topics. Is hey, we have this source file. We have it on multiple locations. Why does it suck on one and it's fine on the other?
I accidentally purchased a movie that was in like Dolby. Like Dolby has their own HDR thing now.
Of course,
Dolby Vision.
DOL.
And it just made all the colors were wonky. Like it would just like have a rainbow of colors all the time. And so I had to
have to have like a specific Dolby decoder.
Yeah, which I don't have. So I had to
download DLC.
Re-render it is what I had to do. Because that's exactly what I did. I did not download it again. So, games that okay. So, did you play anything else except for Rune Factory, Aroa?
Oh, Wobble Dogs.
Cool. I had no idea what that is, but we're gonna move on to me.
Dogs, they wobble.
Onion
rings. They grow wings.
So last week we spoke about
it's a eugenics simulator.
Oh, is it?
God.
Oh, good.
Oh, wait, I remember you showing me Snapchats of that.
Yeah, it's adorable, but
it does look quite adorable.
It is also like technically a eugenics simulator. It's great.
Oh, good. So last week I beat Weird West. Thought that was a good game. And I was like, man, like I have another week. I wonder if I can squeeze another game, beating another game before I leave to go to the UK. And I was able to do that. I played Life is Strange True Colors. And this
Why?
game, it's included with Game Pass.
Yeah, but like you could have played solitaire or something.
Yeah, but I wanted to beat this game. I wanted to beat another game. And I have played all of the other Life is Strange games, minus the prequel to Life is Strange 1. And
Why?
because
That is a damn good question.
I did, Aroa, okay?
You fucking like games journalist or something. You
Yeah.
fucking gotta play all these overrated fucking pieces of shit written by goddamn amateur bullshit.
So let's
Telltale wannabe garbage fest.
let's go back.
I can.
Let me stop Aroa from completely shitting on the game.
No, please do.
Life is Strange 1 was all right. I kind
No,
of
it
enjoyed
wasn't.
it.
Nah.
No, it wasn't.
But the thing I like about these games and streaming them, same thing with the Telltale games, is that typically the stories are about 2.5 to 3 hours long, so they can fill out a stream. Like each chapter can fill out a stream. Except for Life is Strange True Colors, where I found out on Wednesday, the chapter took me an hour and a half, and then on Thursday, I got chapter 4 done in less than an hour. So I ended up having to just beat the game on Thursday because
That one was not originally released episodic, was it?
I don't know if it was all released at once. I know that they came out in chapters, but they might have just released it all.
I seem to recall that it was just one game.
Good.
Also, what I was thinking.
That's good.
So that's unfortunate. Sometimes they kind of give up halfway through.
Yeah. And of course the story is convoluted. I think that it's better than Life is Strange 2. The story in Life is Strange True Colors is, overcomplicated and dramatic, but it's not as bad as the story in Life is Strange 2, because Life is Strange 2 had a lot of every chapter was, oh, hey, look at this racist person. Everybody's racist. Like, they just run into, like, the most racist caricatures of people. And those people do exist, but, like, none of the people that they run into are, like, good people.
Is the marginalized group that this one is focused on transgender people?
No, surprisingly enough.
Yeah, no,
Okay,
not so much. Honestly,
I have seen very
there's
little, if anything. I just assumed.
honestly, I think in that aspect they don't, like, you can choose to play your character as because you play a female, you can choose to play either as a lesbian or straight or both. And so, but there's no real anything about transgenderism or anything like that overtly in the game.
I got that impression from the trailers that was what the theme was going to be, but
yeah,
surprisingly not.
They're just going back to the first game where it's all about being gay.
I mean, no, yes and no, but
you want to be
if you want to be.
Gender identity is kind of identified. Like I don't really think it's a part of the core game, though. Not in the same way like maybe in the previous titles it was.
But I'm not going to spoil too much because it is a newer game. But the first episode, you end up going to save a child. So there's you move into a town, live with your brother. Your brother is stepdad to a child named Ethan. Ethan's like, I'm going to go up to the mine. And you see flyers all over the town that are like, we're going to be doing a blast. Yeah, basically, don't go to the mine. We're doing a blast at 9 p.m., blah, blah, blah.
It's like, these signs can't stop me. I don't know how to read.
Yeah. And I wanted the child to not live.
Die.
And so there's a point where like Ethan's running off to go do something. He's like, I'm just gonna stay home and do homework. And Gabe's like, all right, little man, it's cool. Your brother, Gabe. It's like, it's all right, little man, it's cool. And it gives you the option to tell your brother that he's gonna go up to the mine or not. And I'm like, nah, it's fine.
Reetin, famously not liking children.
And so we, at the end, we have to go up and we save the child. And the child doesn't die, your brother dies. And I was very upset. I was very upset, not that the brother died, but because the child lived. And then in episode 3, you go LARPing. Yep, the chapter 3 is all about LARPing. And I'm like,
is the dialogue all written like how real humans talk whenever they
Oh
go
no,
LARPing?
it's awful.
oh, it's terrible. And my thing was like, looking at all these character designs, I'm like, look at all these incredibly attractive people who are LARPing.
Oh, I actually have I have a hot take about that.
What's that?
What is the character from the Twilight shows, the main character, like the one who's intentionally bland, so anyone can.
Shows?
Bella.
I think that's it.
Yeah.
Every character
Yeah.
reminds me of that with a different coloring or a different shade.
Well, that's who those games are targeted towards.
Exactly.
Yes,
Except they're written by 40-year-old men who have no idea how those people interact.
There we go. Now we're nailing it.
So
right
it
on
was.
that.
It was.
I was insulted watching this. If who is this for?
I don't know, but I beat the game. It was all right for what it was. Like it's the best looking Life is Strange game. You can tell that they've updated the graphics
Unity?
engine a lot.
Yeah.
Like
the Unity engine.
the graphics are objectively very good in the game. Like the facial animations, it's even got ray tracing for some reason.
It's very pretty to look at. I
Sure,
just
why not?
wish I was
Yeah.
remotely interested in anything that was going on.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And then
that's how
So-
I felt about the first game.
I've also been playing on my my Steam Deck, and good note is that with the new experimental Proton Pack and the new update to WWE 2K22, it does launch, and I got about 2 minutes into a match, and then it crashed.
Oh, goody.
Yeah,
Hey,
So
progress.
It's
Baby
just the
steps.
same as playing it on Windows.
exactly. Actually, it runs fine on Windows. I had
I
no
know.
issues.
They actually did like a good job, right?
I also played on my Steam Deck. We have discussed that Wrestling Empire, which is made by our favorite indie developer, M. Dickey.
Keep
That
playing
runs
that
at
anyways.
that runs at 60 frames a second. And I've been playing it on my Steam Deck. Oh wait, so like I'll throw on YouTube in my bedroom and like just dink around on games on my Steam Deck. That's basically how I've been using it. And I've been playing Wrestling Empire on that. So a little under a week ago, I was playing it at night, and I know that the game is a lot more. It has a lot more in-depth stuff than WWE 2K22 does. Like if you're in a match and like an opponent attacks a body part too much, you can get injured in the game.
You can
and-
die.
Well, yes.
I know.
So I'm playing the game. You've ruined it, Aroa. So so I'm playing the game, and my guy makes the scream like he's got injured. And then you're able to get up. Like what it does when you get injured is your life bar goes down to 0, and you can still you can continue on the match, and you can even win the match. But then we kept fighting, and then I ended up like my guy got knocked out, and I was like, oh man, that must have been a bad injury. I'm probably going to be out for a few weeks. And it comes in, it's like, after suffering a very serious injury, they were unable to resuscitate Reetin. And I was like, what? And so I had to retire, and I had to start over. But here's another kicker. You go into the wrestling, you go into like the story mode, and you can't select that character again.
Yeah, they're dead.
Yeah. So it doesn't reset that. It just kills the character, and then you have to move on. you can go and like reset the database, and so it brings anybody who is injured isn't injured. It resets everything. But yeah, if you wanted to do that, you would have to start a new character. And unfortunately,
It's
one
the
thing,
most immersive of immersive sim wrestling games.
yeah, one thing I don't like about it is that it does not allow you to create a character. You have to take a pre-existing character and alter them.
Yeah.
So I hope one day that M. Dickey does put like a character creator in it. But I've gone through the menus and I can't find a way to do it other than altering a character that's already created.
I think that might just be a limitation of how he keeps track of all the other characters, or like all the characters in the simulation.
Yeah.
Like, I imagine that there's just a database in the background that's like, or and like shit that's going, all right, character 30 is in this room doing this. This is character 30's stats. This is character 30's personality. And like,
Interesting. Yeah.
you have to modify character 23 or whatever, and then they just get removed from the simulation and controlled by a human.
But yeah. And then I also did start up, I didn't play very much of it, but I started up the Phantom Pain on my Steam Deck. And it runs at 60 frames a second.
It should.
Yeah.
It's running in the fucking Fox engine, which is like one of the most fucking amazing engines I've ever seen.
Yeah.
And it's never going to get used for anything good ever again.
No, probably not. But we're going to move on to some news stories and talk about ads. Who here likes ads? Wait,
I
feel
like
we-
that they used the same photo that I used when we were talking about ads in our podcast chat. That makes me happy.
Yeah. So, we talked about it last week, was that Microsoft was wanting to put ads in their games. And now Sony's like, wait, that's a good idea. And so they have come out saying that they want to put ads into free-to-play games. And
didn't Sony like patent technology around this years ago?
I think they did. This comes from Destructoid. It says the paid walled feature, which cites a team of Sony insiders as its sources, suggests that Sony has been looking into new ways to monetize free-to-play titles, which have skyrocketed in popularity since the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic, forced communities to seek engaging entertainment in their own homes. While free-to-play games are already mired for the controversy due to their compulsive nature and pricey microtransactions, it seems that studios are considering in-game ads as a way to harness money-making.
So yeah, I was right. I just posted it in the discussion channel. But 10 years ago, Sony patented a method for PlayStation in-game advertising that stops games to show you a commercial.
I really hope that's not what they do. Like, we spoke about it. If you're playing Forza and there's a billboard for Reetin Entertainment Podcast, I'm cool with that. If we're playing Forza and like a Linus Tech Tips video starts, I would be very mad.
I bet you that their plan, now I haven't looked at that patent or anything, but I would not be surprised if the idea is you can choose to pay like, $2 or $3 and turn off in-game advertising, or at least the big like billboard thing that pops up in front of your screen pauses the game. I bet you that is something that they end up looking to sell, because they've probably seen how successful it is in the mobile market, and they're like, wait, why aren't we doing this on the console marketplace?
Okay.
Like, why are
Because I
we?
would sell my console.
So apparently EA has done this before. If you scroll down to the bottom of this article, EA had one. It said Electronic Arts has removed a series of Amazon-sponsored flash ads. I don't know if they're flash ads from its MMA simulator UFC 4, following a huge backlash from fans on social media and Reddit. The offending feature would cause adverts for Amazon TV show The Boys to appear on screen between rounds and replays. And apparently they had to pull those because people were very upset about it.
Yeah. it's just like it's like on TV.
Yeah.
I think they're calling it a flash ad because it just flashes up on screen and it goes, "Watch the thing," and then it goes away. Like, but it's very much like if you were watching UFC on TV, which, hey, that's a clever way of implementing it, but also I paid money for this, you motherfucker.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly. Like it's UFC 4 it's a game you have to purchase. It's not even
Yeah.
a free to play game. It's a little less egregious than like a free to play game, but still, I don't like it. I don't like ads in stuff like, I watch wrestling, and every once in a while they'll partner with somebody and they'll be like, "Oh man, this is some great Mountain Dew we have here," and then like
yeah, does that happen in a pay-per-view as well?
sometimes, yes.
That's fucking stupid.
No, they had AEW was sponsored by Cracker Barrel, and one of the fucking stipulations for being sponsored by Cracker Barrel was they not only had to talk about it, it had to be featured in a match. So like they have a giant Cracker Barrel that like somebody had to do like a dive, like somebody was in the Cracker Barrel and another person did a dive onto the Cracker Barrel.
Now, wait, so this is Cracker Barrel, the restaurant,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure if it was the restaurant or the cheese company.
No. It's the restaurant. And then
He's opening the box of Cracker Barrel cheese. He's dumping the cheese all over him. He can't take that much cheddar goodness.
Your wife is so confused right now.
But yeah, they would, and then in AEW, it's the most fresh in my mind. But they would also hype up Cracker Barrel. Like they'd be like, "And just so you know, this pay-per-view is brought to you by Cracker Barrel. And you know the great thing about Cracker Barrel is it's good every time." And I was like, "Nah, it's all right. Like it's fine."
Just like this pre-written ad. Good.
Yeah.
Every time.
So I hate ads, and I would prefer that I don't mind it in like YouTube, because again, I don't pay for that. And if I have to watch a 5-second ad before a video, I'm not really going to get mad about it.
You know, I do pay for YouTube, and I don't mind whenever the person I'm watching goes, "And this video is brought to you by Curiosity Stream," because I know it's helping that individual person. You know who I don't want to help is a
EA.
multi-billion-dollar corporation that is selling ad space in this thing that I paid $60 fucking for.
Yeah. Like, you're not paying. I don't. It's a little different because they do release their content for free, so I understand that the individual creators have to make that money. But
Well,
again,
and they're gonna get like $100 from the combined income from YouTube Premium.
right? I don't know. I don't like this idea of putting ads in games, especially if it's
What about
intrusive. Like,
Game Pass though?
oh god, I love Game Pass. I hope
No, but
they
I
don't
mean,
put
can you
ads in
imagine?
Gamepad. Yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah,
You know they
Um,
would.
Oh yeah, definitely. I actually have Game Pass Ultimate now.
I mean, it's not a bad deal if you have an Xbox.
Yeah, I have an Xbox Series X, so
I don't know.
you
Yeah,
know.
you do.
Um,
Saying that about YouTube Premium made me realize, like, oh wait, that's literally just Game Pass, isn't it? But
yeah.
like, they could potentially put ads in games on Game Pass. But
Coming to a console near you.
I bet they'd lose subs over it, and I wonder if they would make enough money to make back all the money that they would lose from the
Well, that's
lost
another
subs.
thing.
I bet they would.
I don't have it as a story that we're going to talk about this week. But apparently Netflix is considering putting ads.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Netflix is
And-
also like hemorrhaging subscribers right now.
Well,
So,
they're also thinking about password sharing and cracking down on that.
yeah, and they keep
And-
saying that, and they will. I mean, they, especially right now, because they're hemorrhaging subscribers, like they gotta crack down, and they know people who have been sharing or using somebody else's Netflix login. if they're addicted enough to Netflix's content for some bizarre reason, they'll pay money for it probably. So like,
Yeah.
I can see that.
My thing is, what they want to do is they want to charge you like $3 extra a month per additional user. And I was
Okay.
like, if they start doing that, I'm canceling my account and just telling all my friends to that's not.
Get their own fucking Netflix account.
No,
Yep.
I'm not going to tell them to get a Netflix account because that's bullshit. I don't
Um,
want Netflix making money.
Yeah, like I don't know. I've never seen anything on Netflix that makes me go, "Wow, I really want to pay however much a month Netflix is for that." Like I've
It
just
used to
never.
be $10 or something, or less than $10, and now it's like 15, and that's just not worth it, in my
No,
opinion.
not whenever like most of that, like besides the Netflix original shit, is probably on like Amazon Prime Video, and like if you really want to watch that, you probably already pay for Amazon Prime anyway, so just watch it on there.
Yeah. Anyway, we're gonna move on. We're gonna talk about Halo
Oh,
Infinite. I still have not
how did
played
we
through
get
the
so
campaign.
far off?
What?
I
What?
I don't know.
don't know
We were
how
talking about ads in
we
video
got so
games.
yeah, we were talking about ads and video games, and somehow started talking about Netflix subscription.
Because
I do think
ads.
you can do ads in video games correctly. Pardon me. Let me get that last sense I wanted to get in before we get derailed. Whew.
Uh,
I like we're saying billboards or something. Or like I mentioned last week, my perfect idea for an ad-based video game, fully gimmicked, is you play it, it gets your location detail, and there's got to be a way to find local ads. And you pick up a piece of paper in the middle of the woods, and it's an ad for like a local car dealership or something like that. And you're walking
Yo,
through the woods, and all of a sudden you hear,
actually,
"There's only one, Bob Rorman." And if I heard that guy who I've been seeing on TV since I was in diapers chasing me through the woods, or even just a black an analog of it saying those lines, that'd be worth $10 to me.
I
so
want that so badly.
I know, I want it.
I don't know
No, but for
who.
real, like just pick it up, like seeing the ad organically, like in the environment, is actually like I would be so okay with that. And like there already are plenty of targeted ad technologies that use your location.
Yeah.
Right.
Like
Pick up a
you could
newspaper
feasibly
that
do that.
has the MacGuffin of plot you need, and then in the corner you could buy a car in your town.
Yeah, I mean that would probably be the best, but I doubt that they're gonna put that much
No,
effort
they're
into
gonna
it.
be
But
in your
also,
face about it because they're dumbasses.
Yeah,
you put that in if you put that in Last of Us, would probably take you out of the experience a little bit. But
maybe a
whatever.
little bit. But we're gonna move on. We're gonna talk about Halo. Who here has played through the Halo Infinite story yet?
I
I
haven't even
haven't
played
even
4.
downloaded the game.
I have not played through the Infinite experience yet, the Infinite campaign yet, because it doesn't have co-op, and apparently it's not getting co-op until August, which
Wow.
is a long ways away.
So you're saying I could
Remember-
keep it uninstalled?
For now. It says 343 first delayed the debut of season 2 to May 3rd, and later said campaign co-op wouldn't be available when the season kicked off. So I guess it was supposed to be the next update was going to have it, and they have since delayed that. So it's looking like August. And also don't watch the TV show, apparently. It's bad. I
just a
guess.
little bit.
I haven't
If
seen
they
it.
didn't watch they haven't played the games. They didn't take anything from the games for the show. Like they said that.
Why?
How do you go into the production for a licensed fucking product and go, I'm not looking at the source material. Go fuck yourself.
That is so.
How do you do that?
They didn't read the books or anything?
They did nothing.
Okay, we're gonna, and that was just a brief aside. Hopefully, that will be back, and campaign will be on, in August, so that
Didn't
Connor
they,
and I
like,
can finally
delay
play
Halo
through it.
4? Didn't like delay Halo 4 or something to like implement co-op?
I
Or was
think
it?
so.
Or no, it was like split screen or something. Split screen co-op, maybe.
Couch
Oh
co-op?
right, yeah, because it was
Yeah.
originally not supposed to be split screen.
And then the community is like, "What? No couch co-op on Halo?" Which, to
Yeah.
be fair, why wouldn't you have couch co-op on Halo?
Yeah, I get it. But yeah, so I'm hoping that the campaign's good. I hear the campaign's good, but I'm not gonna play it until I can do it with co-op because that's how I play through Halo campaigns.
I'll play it once I run out of other games to play.
Oh no, you're never gonna play it
Yeah.
until the world ends. We're gonna move on. We're gonna talk about
That happened 2
Terra.
years ago.
Terra. Who here likes Terra?
I do.
I know of it.
I think
I
that
actually
Terra.
think it's a pretty cool MMO.
It is. It is an action
Well,
combat
was.
MMO.
It was.
It's still around, technically, but it is getting shut down. Bluehole's MMO Terra is shutting down after almost 10 years of service outside of South Korea. It says, after careful deliberations, the developers of Terra have unfortunately taken the difficult decision to end development of the game, as they feel they are no longer able to provide the satisfying content that Terra players deserve. Instead, they would like to focus on their internal development efforts on other projects. That's what
Bluehole
Gameforge
owns
wrote in a statement,
Terra?
and it looks
Looks
like,
like it.
I'm sorry, yeah, apparently. So, the publisher
They're the
stated...
PUBG people.
Are they?
Yeah.
Interesting. The publisher stated the ability to purchase Terra Thailers and Terra Club purchases will be deactivated on May 31st. Then on 30th June, all Terra servers will be deactivated. So technically, you can still play Terra until July 1st, and then you're done.
I'm sure there are already like
Private servers.
what do you call it? Yeah, private servers up.
Yeah,
So
that's
If
what is
not,
that?
maybe this would be a good push to get that. All things considered, that's a fast turnaround from announcement to shutdown. 3 months? That's pretty quick, actually.
yeah, and
I also hate whenever they announce these and they're like, you can still buy premium currency though.
yeah.
If you want to.
If you want to give us more money, that'd be pretty sweet.
Don't worry, we're not shutting
It
down the
won't
market.
save the game, but
Here's your last chance to try out, I don't know, cosmetic bullshit.
Some games are like, oh, we're shutting down and we're just gonna make everything on the game shop free until shut down or whatever. But that never really happens. They usually keep the store open for X amount of time and then they shut down the game. I don't like that. I don't like the fact that Terra might or is going to shut down and people are gonna lose hundreds of hours of progress or thousands of hours of progress that they had in a game that they enjoyed.
and a like massive fucking like world and actually like pretty good combat. Like
Yeah,
that just sucks.
it was. It probably wasn't the first action combat MMO, but it was definitely. It was definitely like the best for its time of getting released.
It was an absolute like it was a flagship MMO in its day. Like I remember when Terra first came out as because I'm pretty sure it was a sub MMO
It was
when it first launched, and like I remember watching gameplay of it, and I remember like shortly after it went free to play playing it, and I was like, holy shit! Like how does an MMO look like this and play like this? This is amazing.
I remember violating a NDA.
He said proudly.
Because it's shutting down. What are they going to do to me now? I got into the beta for Terra, and they're like, "You can't stream it," and I was like, "Yeah, I think I can." And I did. I didn't get taken down or anything, and I had like 200 viewers.
Yeah,
it was great.
I remember when people did that with ESO. It was pretty great.
I mean, what were they going to do? Take down my account with 100 people that are following it at the time? Yeah, they could have, but they didn't.
They could have.
That was like 10% of the entire Justin.tv population.
That's true. But this was when Twitch was still a thing.
Oh, that was post-Twitch?
Yeah, it was. I believe Justin TV was still a thing at the time, but Twitch was also a thing. Yeah. And then they merged them. So Terra is unfortunately shutting down, but I'm sure if you want to, you can find other MMOs to play if that's what you're looking for. I know Elion is another action-based MMO that's recently released that has gotten some negative reviews.
If you don't want cosmetics, Black Desert Online has pretty good action combat.
Yeah.
But you're also going to pay real money if you want to look different.
Yeah. And I'm sure that they have private servers that they're going to be able to. If they don't have them right now, they are going to have them up fairly shortly, I would imagine.
Yeah, if the fucking Shin Megami Tensei MMO has private servers, then Terra's going to.
That is true. If the dot hack MMO that was released only in Japan on the PlayStation 2 has private servers, I'm thinking you can find a Terra private server somewhere. We're going to move on and to our last story, which is one that Aroa brought up. I thought about bringing this up, and then I saw that you had already posted it. But this is from Kotaku. It says, the Nintendo of American contractors who feel like second-class workers.
Because they are.
They are. They definitely are.
Not going to read through this whole thing because, Jesus Christ, it's a goddamn essay.
Yeah.
But I basically want to summarize it by pointing out that Nintendo, the company that many people think is this magical fucking factory of munchkins and fucking Charlie and the Chocolate Factory bullshit, it's just like every other big company in America. This is about Nintendo of America, by the way, not Nintendo of Japan. They're probably the Japanese studio company, whatever. They're probably just like every other Japanese big company. That is to say, just as bad, just in different ways.
Yeah.
Well,
okay. Let's back up here. One thing I will say about what happened with Nintendo is when the Wii U released, and it was doing not as well as they would like. The three heads of Nintendo in Japan took a 50% pay cut so that they didn't have to cut any of their workers.
Yeah.
And that's not something that
America would never do that.
Yeah, that's
no
not
company in America would ever do that.
They're like, we're a family that will fire you if we think that it's going to cost us a 1% like drop in profit. That's
also here at Nintendo of America, we do the same fucking thing that a bunch of other companies do that I think we've even brought up on the podcast in other circumstances.
Oh yeah.
Where you're a permanent temporary employee and we fire you like once a year or whatever, once every 2 years, so that you can draw unemployment for 3 months and then we can bring you back and not have to give you benefits.
Yes.
Like that's kind of the gist of this article, is that every like shitty thing that we've ever talked about or that you've ever heard anybody talk about working in any kind of office job, that's all happened at Nintendo of America and probably more.
Yeah, it says here, many testers say they make as little as $16 an hour, which is less than the minimum wage of the next door Seattle, in one of the priciest housing markets in the country. A handful of people make over $20, but that's rare, said one current full-time employee. Meanwhile, competitor Activision Blizzard recently announced it was making all of its testers full-time staff with full benefits and a starting rate of $20 an hour. Following a recent push by QA staff at Call of Duty Warzone studio Raven Software to unionize. Man, it's almost like unions are good.
Yeah.
Like, I have a coworker who is, he's libertarian, which means he's wrong about everything, and he hates unions. But he also hates corporations, and I'm like, okay, so if corporations are so bad, and you don't agree with most of the things that they do, then why are they, like, wouldn't you want to support unions? Because they are incredibly scared of people unionizing. there's got to be a reason why corporations hate unions. And it's because of stuff like this, where they're like, oh shit, they're going to unionize. We better pay them more, make them feel like actual people. So, Amazon, Starbucks, all this is happening too. Was there anything else you wanted to add to that, Aroa?
No, I mean, you're right. I do think there's something to say for the argument that, like, there are large unions which act more like a corporation in and of themselves than a union.
Yes.
But most of the time, if you are setting up a new unionized group, that's going to be a lot better for everyone involved besides the company than letting the company just kind of do whatever the fuck they want. And yeah, like, there's really not a whole lot else without going into the nitty gritty of the article to mention. Just that it's the typical Nintendo is taking advantage of its workers and pretending that they don't do that.
Yeah.
And
I've heard some.
this is not a new thing.
Right. I've heard some stuff from people I worked with in, because I was a contractor at Sony for a little while. I don't know if I've ever mentioned that to you guys. I don't talk about it all the time.
Just a couple of times. I sometimes forget. You know?
But I had a coworker who had worked at Gearbox, and Gearbox would treat their temporary workers like second-class citizens, to the point where Gearbox had, like, the QA people technically worked for another company that they set up so, like, that they could give them worse benefits and worse pay. And then the QA testers would set up the Christmas party but not be able to go to the Christmas party.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
They had contractors at a previous job that I worked at where it was sort of like that, where it was like, hey, everybody, it's free ice cream day. And I'm not exaggerating. That's literally a thing that they did. It was free ice cream day.
Yeah, I've had that a couple times. It's great.
But everyone was told contractors don't get any ice cream. And was, yeah. Like, they paid for several ice cream trucks to fucking pull up in front of the building, and they had to refuse anybody that had the wrong color badge.
When I worked at Sony, we had an administrative lady that handled all of that stuff. So I got so many cups and bowls and and t-shirts, and I even got Crash Bandicoot, the Insane Trilogy, for free, which was great. It came in an old PlayStation Jewel case.
That's cool.
It had a piece of paper inside.
Yes, right? It did. Yeah.
Yeah.
But every once in a while, we would get, or she would get, a note from, like, Sony being like, "Hey, here you go. These are for employees only. You can't give them the contractors." And Susan, the administrator lady, would be like, "No," and then still give them to contractors.
See, those are the people that, like, make corporate America sometimes being worth being a part of.
Yeah.
When I worked at the law firm, we had a similar thing going on where they basically got told, hey, we're doing a celebration, but only for some of the caseworkers. And unfortunately for them, I had building access.
They would do that every once in a while. There were a couple of things that I couldn't attend when I was at Sony, and it was like there were meetings I couldn't attend, like IT staff meetings that were only for employees, but I don't want to attend an hour and a half long IT meeting going over numbers and statistics anyway. So I was like, okay, cool. And then also at Facebook, they would do employee only, like, hands-on deck meetings that were hosted by Mark Zuckerberg. And again, not something I really give a shit about attending, so I didn't really care. But those were the only things I ever really was barred from when working at any of these companies. However,
you didn't have to go to the Suck the Zuck meetings.
Yeah, exactly. But that being said, like, I've heard, Nintendo and Activision and Gearbox and even Rockstar, like, they definitely treat contractors as second-class citizens a lot of the time.
There's somebody in the comments of this article
Mm-hmm.
that says they worked at Nintendo of America as a tester, and Nintendo's actually one of the few companies that does not credit their temp QA testers
That
for their
is
work.
bullshit too.
And
Even
their
Reetin got a
reasoning,
special thanks.
their reasoning is that technically Nintendo of America doesn't have a QA department that isn't directly controlled by Nintendo of Japan. So they essentially employ a third party company that actually employs all of those QA testers, and they do all the work.
Oh, okay, so that's bullshit.
So the company gets credited, and that little fucking like whoever fucking actually runs that company doesn't give a shit about whether or not their slaves get credited.
Yeah, that's. I mean, it is nice. Be like, I know it's not much of a claim to fame, but it is nice, even if you're just QA or IT, to be looking
Yeah.
at the credits and be like, that's my name.
It's
Like-
nice to be able to fucking like say you were a part of something.
Yeah.
Even if it was just in some small way, like it just feels good. It feels good to get credit for helping something happen.
Well,
And
and
it's
then
bullshit whenever fucking publishers don't let you do that.
and one thing is, when I was at Sony, my last day there, the QA guys were people that I sat next to. We were in we got the basement area. Like they moved us all over to a new building, and everyone on the second and third floor got sit stand desks and everything. And then they said that they were going to give everybody was going to have sit stand desks. Turns out that didn't work out. So the QA and IT people did not get sit stand desks. Of
You
course.
know, the people who are going to be working at desks.
Yeah. And so, well, everybody worked at desks at a video game studio. Let's be fair. So on my last day, I had one of the QA guys, I think it was Ryan, came up to me. I was like, "Hey man, can you come look at something for me?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And so we walk past the QA place into the kitchen, and they had bought me an ice cream cake on my last day of work.
Aww.
Yeah, I was like, "Oh, that is fucking." I teared up a little bit. I'll be honest. Like it was really nice of them. So I really
and the
have.
icing said, "Go fuck yourself." Reetin's like, "You guys know me so well."
I would be so happy. But yeah, so that was, QA guys work the hardest a lot of the time out of everybody, and everybody works hard. Everybody's pulling like 60, 70-hour weeks. But QA guys will go they'll have a meeting on Friday and be like, "All right, everyone go home. QA, you're here till midnight." Like they just constantly were working like 8 a.m. to 11 or 8 a.m. to midnight, and so they are constantly the hardest workers at any game studio.
Really shows the Q of their product.
Yes. But anyway, anything else either of you want to add to this? No, it appears not.
Nope. No, I got none.
All right. So I want to thank both of you for being here. Thank you, Aroa, for being here for most of the podcast.
Yeah, at least the popping is gone.
Yes. And thank you for being here, Connor.
I was here the whole time.
Yeah. And we'll see you. Well, wait. I won't see you next week. Aroa and Connor will see you next week. And
yeah, buddy.
We'll see how that goes. Thank you and goodbye.
See you guys next week.